We are back with another chapter of Arbatian Mental Institution, Chapter 13, Revenge. Lenny drops down as a glass splinters into rainfall across the recreation room. Clients scream as glass hits their bodies at various locations. Lenny rolls under a table and looks around the room nervously. What the hell just happened? He looks around confused and scared. Delkatov begins to run to the double door. He lunges forward, shattering the doors into pieces. The bronze statues fall to the ground, breaking apart into multiple fractures. Miss Cranston jumps up and locks her sights on the creature. He runs down the hallway, ignoring her. The floor shakes as multiple demons come rushing in. Dr. Arbatian sits in his office, lighting a cigar as a light earthquake rumbles outside. He smiles and takes a puff. So it's time, huh? Well, can't live forever, I suppose. I'm ready, my old friend. 3 creatures turn and jump the counter, pouncing on Miss Cranston. 2 hold her down while 1 breaks her ribs apart, pulling them outwards as they snap like frail tree branches. It pulls her heart out and shoves it into her mouth, violently digging its claws into her face, lacerating her mouth into a strew of raw ribbons. In his office, Dr. Arbatian takes one last taste of his cigar and exhales as his body forms into a pile of ashes. In the recreation room, Lenny starts to stand up when the doors break off the hinges. Creatures of unimaginable horror come flying in. Some crawling on the walls, few on the ceiling. One runs up to Kiel, its body morbidly obese. The skin seemed to be covered in oil or grease. Its head was a blank mannequin. The skin atop its head separates and widens while picking up Kiel and the wheelchair. Large daggers for teeth slither out, forming a mouth. He raises Kiel above and drops it. Its teeth start to grind and pulverize both Kiel and the wheelchair into a dilapidated mangle of meat and metal. A pale-skinned creature grabs a girl screaming, trying to run away. It pulls on her tangled hair, peeling her scalp back. She falls down as the demon bores its hands into her eye sockets, cracking her skull into 2 broken halves. Staff and clients alike are ripped apart as the floor becomes a lake of blood. Body parts and intestines splatter on the walls and floors. 1 man staring at a teddy bear is devoured by a large beast. It bites down, popping his spinal cord out of place. It rears back, swallowing him whole. While the creature's belly begins being transparent, the man is seen dissolving through the stomach acid. Lenny tries to run, but his legs turn into jello. He falls to the ground and tries to crawl backwards in the midst of all the creatures. 1 walks between them, looking like a normal human, except for a tight laceration in its face. He walks towards Lenny as it opens up, revealing a dark yellow eye. Completely naked, it slithers fingers into the chest and pulls skin back, exposing his inside. Lenny sees darkness in the hall. Pink veins shoot out, wrapping around him. He fights back, gripping the veins, but they burn his hands like acid. His hands sizzle while skin slides from them like melting cheese. Quickly, the veins burn into his body, squeezing tighter, slowly breaking down layers of tissue and bone. He drops to his knees, screaming, falling sideways. The veins begin to lure him into the void, wrapping around him like a security blanket. Lenny shakes and twitches, the veins steadily getting tighter. Smoke and an unpleasant aroma of cooked meat linger from his withering body. Lenny's right eye pops halfway out his socket as his body is slowly swallowed into the gap. The demon's skin closed back up afterwards as Lenny's fingers disappear into the slit, making one last attempt to reach out. Delkatov runs through the reception area on all fours. Nurse Penny gasps as he breaks the desk apart, running through it. Her and the other staff flee down a hallway, cornering themselves, one of them grabbing a nearby staff like a shield as urine trickles down her calf. Delkatov inhales a deep breath and exudes heavy fumes of fire. The heat is so intense and swift that they melt and fuse together like a large puddle of forged burnt flesh and charred bone. 2 staff come out of Wing E after locking up another patient. After standing up from ducking under the board, they freeze in fear. An array of demons run towards them. An eruption of blood and shards of bone flow from the frenzy of feeding monsters as they circle around what's left of the two bodies. Other demons come running towards the hallways, ripping doors off the hinges and jumping and mauling the individuals. Lola sits in her room as the stink of death begins to linger in. She rubs her stomach as Delkatov rips her metal door off. "I don't care anymore. I'm ready," she says in between tears. Delkatov walks in, lugging his heavy body. It then drops on one knee. In a hoarse voice, it replies, "Princess Lola, we've come to save you." And that is it for chapter 13. So far, apparently, Lola is princess and ruler of these creatures, and they're coming to take her home. It's either that or she really is that insane.